How's it going, everyone? Runt9 here, and welcome back to another episode of Runt9 Plays City Skylines. This is the City of Pyradian, episode number 14. And in the last episode, funny enough, we're looking at the trains here. In the last episode, we finished off by finding out that all the trains were broken, and that was bad. It was backed up off the map, and I really screwed up the trains. Right after having a really successful episode of building out our tourist island. Well, I did a little bit of work off camera because I wasn't sure how I was going to solve this problem. So obviously things look good over here in our tourist area, but what we had going on was we had trains backed up all the way out here. Well, as you can tell, that is not a problem anymore. All the train lines through here seem nice and smooth because I dropped in one of these big bad boys. And this is the first time that I've ever used one of these in a game, but I've also never used trains this much before. It turns out to have solved the problem entirely. So if you don't remember, we had a single train station here handling... Oh, I also recolored this loop to make it easier to discern the difference between... the internal loop was a dark burgundy red kind of color, and the incoming trains were red as well, so it made it hard to see the difference between the two lines. We basically had the internal loop, this green line that goes up here to the suburbs, as well as external tourist traffic coming through our lines, all on one line, and clogging this up to the point of a deadlock. Well, what I did was I dropped one of these in here. The green line now doesn't even have to run underground. It just, skates its way under the, crazy highway interchange here. Does some horrible elevation changes and makes its way out to the suburbs here. And it's definitely carrying some passengers. And it just comes along on this end one here. It comes down here, drops people off, picks people up, and then goes back. Now we could do this in a more efficient way where we loop it back around so that it uses more tracks. It's all fine. What I can tell you for a fact is the number of residents using it has basically doubled since we put this in. And there's not too many people waiting, although we could maybe do with another train. I think I will go ahead and... Oh, okay, 3 is going to be the maximum. That's fine. So I did that for the green line. The internal loop, I just, continued the track along. We still have the bypass, so you can ignore it entirely. But trains can drop in on this station. You can see a lot of people getting on and off here. But most importantly, and this is probably overkill, is this tunnel connects from here to here. In fact, let me go underground so I can show you. So tourist trains coming in from the outside will come in here, hit the tunnel, come up here, and then they have the ability to split onto one of 4 different platforms on this train station that then merge back together and go back out through this tunnel, as you can see here, which also works this direction as well. Trains coming in from this way can come underneath here, enter the platform, and then come back around here. And most importantly, the thing that really was screwing us was the fact that we had these tourist trains on our main internal loop line, and that's what was causing the most amounts of problems. Now, the internal loop can keep trucking along, the green line can keep trucking along, or training along. That was a pretty bad joke there. While the tourist trains can come in, hit the station, and go on out. And now we can get 460 people serviced in the last 40 minutes. Tourist number is solid. And it comes with a metro stop, so we don't need our own metro stop there. It looks like we've got a bugged metro train again. That happens all the time, apparently. Look at how many trains are waiting. Yep. Well, I'm used to it. It'll figure itself out. What this also made me think of... Oh, also I dropped in some more water and sewage because we needed that. What that made me think of, though, is that we need to have tourist trains be able to come down here. And I had a couple different thoughts for that. Part of it is I kind of would like to grab this tile, although I also want to grab these tiles down here so we can build out some more fun suburbs on this side of the city. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and run a train line off of this that goes under the highway and just cuts right along this path, follows underneath the highway, and then connects up on this bridge. Now I realize I may be putting myself in exactly the same situation that I was just in, but we'll deal with that problem when it becomes a problem. So let's just circle this train line out here, build the bridge up, and then connect it in at about that angle. And let's make sure that it connected up just fine. That it did. Let's allow this one to accept intercity trains, but this one cannot. So intercity trains can come in, drop off here, and then go back out the same way. Since this is our tourist island, it makes sense that tourists would like to visit from the external train line. Ideally, we're going to want to turn this into a T intersection as well, so you can go either direction. Probably going to be better to do it this way. That is not exactly the prettiest T intersection in the world, but it'll work, and that should be long enough for an entire train to stay on there at one time. And that means that trains can now get easily down, and they're already coming in, as you might expect. This is our tourist area, so they should be bringing in a lot of people. There isn't any other public transit through here, so they will have to take the train. There isn't a tram stop here, is really what I should say, which may or may not be a problem. I believe those people just got run over. RIP. Get some F's in the comments for those people smashed under that train. We need to pay our respects for those that we have lost today. So because the trains are along the service road, we don't have the ability to get trams out here. I mean, we could, but I would greatly prefer to not do that. But now we are definitely getting a lot of people on these trains, which is fantastic. That train magically appeared. What all do we have going on here? It looks like these are all people entering and leaving the city. No, that's the purple line. If you look at this, that now has 315 and growing people. So we need more trains on this route, it turns out. So let's go ahead and bump this up to 5 and see how that goes. I'm going to go up to 3 times speed just because we need to get some demand flowing in, get this area starting to build out. You can tell that the residential is definitely here. We've got some high density residential that grew up all along this beach area, which is fantastic. The purple line definitely needs to make its way through here and get these people picked up. I have the strangest feeling that, I mean, let's just click on a random person here. Going to work, school, university student. Okay. Well, looks like we're running into some more issues with getting people around. I did notice some traffic issues up in this little section, again, because this is pretty much the only road that connects the northern and southern halves of our city, unless you count the freeway spiderweb BS. So I think that we are running into some backups here already. I think it's waiting to see if more passengers get on or off. I'm not sure, but we are definitely running into some problems down here. This is going to start to be a huge issue. Yeah, look at the tourist backup. Okay, I get it. I did it wrong. I did it wrong. I understand. This was bad. Now, how am I going to solve it? How am I going to solve this problem? Okay. So we've got those that don't matter. We do have the eco water treatment plant, which I'm going to immediately plop in however many we need. Should need 4, and then connect these up. Come on, let me destroy that water line. All right, well, you know what? You can be mean. How about you let me connect to that one? No? Okay, well, I'm going to ignore that ever happened. You saw nothing. So sewage treatment should still be fine. No, because these handle way less sewage. Right? Those handle 160,000 per 20. These handle 120,000. So they should handle more. Are they unpowered or the water not connected properly? We got to wait for them to turn on. Okay, now we're good. Perfect. So now we are no longer dumping poop. So I have already completely screwed my trains. I'm not sure what the right answer is here. So I was hoping to do the train fixing problem stuff off camera, and we would get to do some more interesting things today, but it looks like that today is going to be more of a train fixing episode. Well, I think that the right answer here well, there's multiple right answers. What I'm going to choose to do is probably the wrong answer. And I'm going to... I don't want it on that side because that's not flowing into the city. Slope too steep. That's about what I would expect. Yeah, I can understand that. Okay, so we're going to put this right here. And this is going to be purely for tourists. I made the mistake, again, of putting tourists on the same line as our inner city train, and that was just a bad idea. I am aware of my mistake. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to bring this up to a nice solid 10 meters. We're going to start curving this out. Like so. And keep that height same, please. And then bring that down to a much more normal height. Like so. Does that work okay? They can go under the highway, they come up and over that, and then they enter this. So this allows intercity trains. This one does not, and the other one does not. Now we just need a way for people to get from here to here and to the rest of this area. So we're going to put in another taxi stand for one. And we'll just drop this down right next to the building. Just that way the taxis can originate a little closer than they otherwise would. And we've got trams. We need to get people to the trams. What they can do is just walk over here to the tram stop. But I think what I would prefer to do even more depending upon where the tram line is at, which should be this one. So there's a tram stop right there. Let's go to the lines. Let's drag this stop to be right here. Okay, I wanted it a little closer to the middle, but that's fine. You'll see what my thought is. We're going to take a pedestrian pathway and cut it right through the center of this little block. And then we're going to put in a crosswalk here, right there. And that will allow people to get off the train, walk across here, and hop on a tram. Because that will put it right at the stop. People can walk onto the tram, and then they can get around the city like they need to. They can walk around where they need to. And everything should be all nice and hunky-dory. I think that it may not be a bad idea to have a raised pathway from here over to this tram stop as well. Looks like we don't have one. Man, I really spread these out, didn't I? Hold on, what happened with our tram lines here? Okay, first off, can you make these different colors, please? You make it red. Okay, well, that was rude of you. You can stay purple. So we have two lines that are still too closely colored. How about we make you like cyan? That's fine. Just so I can easily see the lines being differentiated. I think that this stop can be pulled back slightly so that we can add a stop right about here. And that will allow us to do a nice pedestrian pathway, elevated as well. From this side of the platform, we gotta go from about right there, get the height up. It's a heck of a slope, but you gotta make it up and over. And then bring it down right there. And that should be right next to the stop. That's close. So that lets people switch between the tram and the train fairly easily. And we're going to do the same thing down here, probably. Let's take a look at our tram stops. We have a cyan line here. We do not have a purple stop down here. I think that they're interspersed fairly well. Well, actually, no, not really. Cyan line, go there. Purple line can stay there. That's fine. And then we'll do, again, another elevated pathway from there. Cutting across the little internal road. Come back down the ramp, and then right there we'll get you onto the sidewalk where you can easily access that stop. You can walk down a little bit further and get to that stop if you need to hop on Purple Line. And so that gets people between the trains and the trams that run internally in our little tourist district. Let's turn it up to 3 times speed and probably want to just go ahead and delete this train. There we go. Just let things kind of filter through here. The tourist trains will automatically disappear. Obviously, this traffic jam will go away soon. I don't know why this one stopped, however. That doesn't make sense to me. We're going to delete it. It turned in... Okay. Well, something seems broken here. But I have no idea what. Let's use move it and raise this up slightly. Or delete this train. Okay, maybe that's what it was. Heck if I know. Doesn't make much sense to me. Alright, so we've got some garbage problems in the city. I think that probably our best bet is to go ahead and just put a recycling plant somewhere down here. That'll cover pretty much the whole city just fine without disturbing the residents. That'll take care of the trash problem. So this will definitely serve some tourists to our city. Take a look at our stats. We're doing fine here. Metro is broken. Yeah, let's figure out the metro problem. Take me to this stop. This metro train is just bugged. Can't select that train, it looks like. Which is a shame because it figured it out eventually. It could tell I was looking at it. Okay, now it's moving again. That is so weird. I swear, I think that some of the mods are what's making it buggy, but I honestly don't have an easy way to check that. This is yet another situation where I think we don't quite have the right answer for the amount of train traffic we need to handle. We definitely have a lot of people getting on and off here. Now it looks like it's cleaned up a bit. We've got tourists coming in here. These trains are going through. You have no power. How about now? We do see some people using this pathway, which is good. We should expect to see more and more people using the pathways as more and more people come down here. Yeah, definitely being utilized. Going down to the crosswalk. I don't know if you need a crosswalk to get to the tram stop. You may need to, but either way, people will start to use it a bit more. Not that transport. There's a few people utilizing it. It looks like Metro is starting to fix itself. Yeah, the trains are spread out again, so we're good. This appears to be operating fine. Internal loop doesn't have a lot of people on it, as expected. Our 2 tourist area line is definitely heavily populated, which is good. I mean, look at how many people are running around down here. The train is definitely doing its job. Okay, well, this has been very much a train episode. I'm not exactly sure what I want the next episode to be about. We do have a new tile we can buy, and this is the problem I have, is that I want both of these tiles, but we can only buy one at a time. And our next tile we don't get until 38,000. That's fine, but I don't know which one I would prefer more. I think this one because it's right off of our underground highway. And we can start to extend this out and start to build some more beach suburbs, even though we've got some more poop to clean up. Which I will immediately drop some floating garbage collectors in here to start getting that poop out of the way. Looks like we do have some people coming and going. These trains are a little backed up, which is definitely causing this little bit of traffic flow problem here. I really just kind of screwed up on my train station placement. I will revisit this another time. It's not a big enough deal yet. Our island hasn't built out enough yet. I'm looking for other traffic problems. That's red, but it's not actually a problem. Everything else looks fine. Obviously, there's a gigantic lack of workers up here. Mostly because they need people that are uneducated, and most of our workforce is not uneducated. So realistically, what we need to do is paint this district and go schools out. So let's do that real quick, and then we'll probably call the episode there. A little bit of a shorter one for me, but I'm not necessarily burnt out that I finished in a reasonable time. I am a little sad that this ended up being just futzing with trains, but, you know, details. Always with the details. Where is... School's out. There we go. So that'll keep people lower on the education scale. Now, ideally, we want these buildings to level up, which I believe is mostly having city service buildings nearby. But I don't think they can level up without having workers. Make sure all is well in the building. Oh, okay, yeah, some of them are getting abandoned and rebuilt. Okay. Water availability is low again. Wow, okay, well, let's add in another water pump. Solve that problem. So traffic is looking fine. Again, we're gonna have to deal with this train problem at some point. The line switching, unfortunately, is not going the best way that it could. We probably should have the yellow line go the other direction, but it should be okay for now. Everything's fine down here. This is cleared up. We've got a ton of residential buildings that have built up along the beach here, which, you know, the cliff is a little scary, but it looks cool. They're definitely mostly uneducated or elementary school education, which that seems fine. I'm good with that for now. I guess our next project is, let's see here, is there any more public transit we need to add in? We could add in a ferry, but I don't know. I think it's too small of a jump here. Now, once we start building out over here, if we do build out over here, that may be a good time to put in a ferry, but... Or, if we started building down here, which this is... Rocky Roads? I've not seen this before. So I guess what is probably going to be next is starting to fill in some of this empty space with some more suburban neighborhoods. We definitely have the residential part of our tourist district getting built out. We've got some industry demand, which should be filled in by offices. I do expect this train problem to start biting us sooner rather than later. But I think for now, we'll plan on, in the next episode, doing a bit of suburban build out here and probably here first while we wait for this next tile to come in. We'll probably want to drop in... No, we don't want to drop in any train stations here. The tourists aren't going to want to come in here. But we definitely have a lot of room to build in some suburban areas. We'll build up some commercial along the train tracks so that the noise pollution doesn't bite us. And we'll just kind of carve it out from this train line down here to this highway up here and just kind of build out this whole big suburban area. And that'll be our project for episode number 15. But as far as episode number 14, I think I'm going to call it. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like or a comment. It helps out a lot. You can subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like this in the future. You can join the community Discord if you'd like to connect with me directly. And if you're interested in donating to my channel, there is a Patreon link in the description. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.